Hey guys, Charlie Levine coming at you from 513 Fit, going over some warm-ups and also kind of some big concepts as well. I have really, for a long time, had a very soft spot in my heart for kind of old school Victorian era training, because these people on a large scale achieved incredible results, and then obviously there are also individuals that we still talk about over 100 years, after they were on stage and competing and demonstrating and all their cool stuff. So I think there are some lessons to be learned there. And so the lesson we're applying to this particular warm-up series with a stick is that you don't just want to kind of check out and let everything go loose, but actually you want to make more of a muscle than you have to. So think of a bodybuilder going through their posing routine, or Bruce Lee, doing some little empty-handed thing, but you can see all his muscles firing. You want to try to do that. So we're going to start this from the ground up. If you're doing this in shoes, don't worry about this first one. I do like to roll the feet out, both the inside edge, outside edge, by the toes, up by the heel. Just a little bit that feels good, both sides, and then switch. And then bring it up and work the traps. Fingers extended. So I'm working really the side of the neck, not so much straight on like that. And obviously work both sides. Now let's get into that work. So here, you want to make the legs tighter than you think you have to, butt tight, and then really hold the ends of this thing. So either hold the ends here, or this nice overhand grab, really squeeze it so everything's working. So I'm not kind of turning things off and going loose. You can put that back and swivel. I'm not forcing that rotation, but I am working into it. And just do appropriate number of reps both sides. Same thing, taking this diagonally. I really like to hold this guy at the ends. This bottom arm pushes the top arm into a stretch, and I am breaking the plane. I'm not going right here. I'm letting this come back behind me. You can also do this with your feet planted if you find it's a little easier to keep things turned on and working. That's fine as well. So those are the first two. Next, let's work on a hip hinge. So if you're new to hinging the hips, you can use this guy essentially as an external spine. Fingers right there behind your head, knuckles on your tailbone, and then my feet are about hip width or so. You can also do this with your feet together. That's commonly demonstrated. A lot of old school Swedish gymnastics. So if you're feeling that, go for it. I typically go with my feet about hip or shoulder width. Again, legs are strong, they're not locked, but they are strong. I'm squeezing the joe. That's what we call these stabs here in Aikido. So I'm hinging the hips back. So if you need a little help, then you can do that. To progress that, hold this just below your collarbones. Really pull that against you. And again, you don't want to sway too hard here. Close those ribs. Hinge back, and then up. To advance that further, if you've got the shoulder mobility, bring this across your upper back. Not behind your neck here, pushing you forward, but across the upper back. Hinge. Try to get a little further each time. And once you get a good handle on that, get those reps, you can add in a rotation. So you hinge, and then turn. Elbow goes to the knee here, and then up. Hinge, and turn, and then up. All right, then let's go before for a second, tall half kneeling. So here, either toes curl under. I like to do that. The toes tend to get fairly tight. Brace the middle, and just everything comes forward. I want you notice I adjusted my foot position on this front guy. It's going to give me a bit more ankle stretch as well, and then release. Forward, push the toes in the floor, grabbing with the toes of the front foot here. And if you want, you can bring this guy up overhead. And again, a nice stretch going this way as well. Do your reps on one side, and then switch and do the other. Next, let's do a couple shoulders. So first, let's do shoulder dislocation. So here, I'm going to squeeze this between my thumb and my forefinger. And again, you can do that heels together, toes apart position. Legs strong, bum tight, middle tight. Really squish that down, and then just bring it up and over nice and slowly. Staying tall the whole time. Doing your reps. And then, since we're here, let's go to long back stretch. So take your feet. This one I like to have the feet wide, just easier to lower back. So here, I'm going to bring this guy up, and I'm not popping my belly open, keeping that closed. And I'm pushing this against my lower ribs. So you can even squeeze that if you want. You grab the ground with the toes, straighten that out. A lot of work on the upper back and the triceps. And then take it up and over. Knees can stay a little soft. If you like, you can slowly shift your weight side to side and then work your way back up. Bring it up as high as you can. Nice, good control there. Keeping my neck stable so not letting my head duck forward. Not craning. Keep those ribs closed and then up and over. Always slow, controlled movement, so those transitions are important. And let's go with some leg work again. A couple different squat iterations. And again, don't just rely on gravity to do the work for you. So here, and everything lights up. And this particular iteration helps me because I had plantar fasciitis. Gosh, this was like 15 plus years ago now. So following a straight line, so I'm on a plumb line, coming down, my heels lift up, I'm on my toes, a little extra there, up, and then lower down. So following that plumb line, heels lift up, and then up. One more like that. Now obviously do more extra. More than this, I'm just trying to keep the video from extending out too long. Then the other big favorite squat is just traditional. So if you need to, set this guy off to the side for a second, and the backs of your hands go to the inside of your ankle bones. And once you got that, then you can pry the knees apart, hang out here, and then just keep your back straight, stand back up. Again, use these guys as a landmark. Keep things working. And so a couple different squat iterations. Let's give that spine some attention going laterally as well. We've done some flexion and also some hinging. So this time around, we're just going to bring this guy up. And so here we go. So just a nice basic, so my legs are strong grab here. I'm just going to tilt. So it's a nice long line going on here. And then tilt. So I'm getting some lateral work as well. Not forcing it, but I am trying to control the work and just slowly coax a little bit more range of motion out of that. Oh, that feels really good. And then let's go back to some leg work. One of my favorites, lateral lunges. So here, if I'm on a line, that's my east-west line. My feet are pointed to the north-south line. If you need to, do this without the Joe, or without the staff. Freehand goes the small back, strike back. So I'm slinging my body between my legs and back up. And slowly working into it. So I'm not just relying on the structures here to stop. Go a little bit offset here. So you can see I'm right there between the legs, and I can back up. Hips are dropping. So I'm not letting this guy jam up into my gut. You can also adjust your stance or adjust your arm position. Let's drop deeper into it. And since we do have this guy, you can also use this just as a little reminder to keep your back straight. So a shoe pool, so to speak. So this guy is almost matching up to the line on that straight leg. And those are a few, I mean, there's obviously more you can do. That's just a few of the greatest hits. And again, I'm Charlie with 513 Fit.